All right, what's up, guys? We're definitely picking up the streaming frequency here. Another one tonight. So I finally got those native boxes that we were supposed to open on the birthday stream. They came today. We're going to open those tonight. Then all those first edition boxes that we didn't get around to opening on my birthday, we're going to open some more of those tonight. Hopefully, pull some more Mothman. Maybe eventually we'll pull a red ink. So that's what we're going for tonight. Some native, some first edition, maybe some Kuromi at the end to kill time because I'm getting absolutely fed up with Kuromi and I've still got like a dozen boxes left and it's hard to pull anything good. All right, let me get the chat going here. What's up, Cart Gal? Definitely been getting boned by the kitty. Not the way it normally goes with the kitty. It's usually the other way around. But yeah, every time I've opened it here lately, it's been sucking hard. What's up, Josh? What's up, Escaped Alien? Bucky Hazuga, what's up, dude? Chartreuse, Team Rocket Rob, what's up, man? My point exactly, Cart Gal. Not the other way around. So while we give some people to get in here, some time to get in here, we'll start with some little appetizers. We're actually going to open up a Cryptid Nation Revive. I've got a couple of these I was gonna keep sealed, but at this point, there's really just no point. I don't think they're ever gonna be redeemable again. They're probably losing value by the day at this point. And maybe we can get something cool to send into PSA with this submission that I gotta send in. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. I know you gotta get up early for school tomorrow. We've also got one of these. I believe this was a Walmart blister. Well, I don't even know what you can get out of here, to be honest. Second edition packs. Is this the one where you had a chance at a first edition? I don't even know if this is the one that you have a chance at something good. It might just straight up be 3 second edition, but this is my favorite, like hanger artwork. But yeah, while we give some people some time to get in here, we'll start out a little bit hot before we get into the booster boxes and go straight into some Revive. Like I said, at this point, maybe we'll get something cool to send back into PSA. No point in keeping it sealed. It is a cool looking box, though. It's a nice sealed display piece. I think there's the one where you have a shot at Mike's pubic hair. All right. Redeemable Piazza, which not redeemable for anything at this point. Let's see what we got in our pack. Maybe I should have kept this sealed. Getting rid of the small stuff to make room for the pallets. I wish. At this point, I just got so many booster boxes that I've been buying up. I just want to start selling some of them, honestly. Or, I'm sorry, not selling them. What am I talking about? Ripping them. I feel like every day they sit in a hodag. I probably could have kept that one sealed. Oh well. But I feel like every day they sit, the more worthless they become. And they're more fun to open than just having a display case. I'm still keeping one of every box and almost every product sealed. That display case I'm never touching, but I've got so many multiples of these boxes sealed. I'm just gonna start ripping them. This is a really nice artwork on this. Too bad it's just second edition. Yeah, just 3 packs. TMX Comics says, anyone else wake up in a cold sweat, rip a box, and sober themselves back to sleep? Just me, dang. This was the promo card. I think Afton did this one, right? Yeah, Afton. Piazza Bird. See if we have any rare luck with these second edition packs. Maybe we'll get a Mothman that's worth $5 at this point. Full hollow silver bullet. I wake up and go, wait, they got my $300? What's up, audio? Slide Rock Bolter Reverse. Lightning Glass Full Hollow. All right. So I want to start with the native booster box, because I don't think I got to open any of the native that we had on the birthday stream. I think that was all Chris, so I missed out on the native. And honestly, I haven't opened native in a while, so native, in my opinion, is kind of enjoyable to open compared to something like Kuromi UFO. Actually, really, I prefer native to Seance. I prefer it to Kuromi. I prefer it to UFO. I maybe liked Wilderness a little bit better than native, because Wilderness was still like in the peak of Metazoo hype when Wilderness came out, at least. There's some good cards in Wilderness that, even though they're worthless now, I really liked at the time. But native is always fun to open. But actually, let's keep it spicy, and we'll keep the beginning of this really interesting and open a box topper right off the rip from first edition. And maybe we'll just go back and forth between first edition and native. But yeah, we'll just go into the box topper off first edition right off the rip. Man, I'm so bad at cutting these packs. It seemed like adult Pokemon. That's kind of an apt comparison, especially with some of the later sets. First box topper is a Water Aura. Actually, where are my sleeves at? Am I out of sleeves? I got these shitty Kickstarter sleeves. Let me grab some sleeves. I feel like these Kuromi sleeves are actually a lot thicker, better quality than those Kickstarter ones. All right, let's do some Wilderness here. It's been a while for me. Adjust this camera a little bit. That might be a little bit better. I'm bummed, but also happy that I don't have to dish out $500 a month on mini sets, says TMX. Yeah, I am curious to see how much money I actually save this year not buying any Metazoo. Or at least not buying as much with the constant drops. Not buying nearly as much. But then again, I was grading so much stuff that I opened. I feel like it's also going to be less income from eBay. So I don't know. We'll see how it balances out. Probably will save quite a bit since we're not really... And the Metazoo that I am buying is like dirt cheap. I mean, think about the years, guys, that we were ripping Metazoo and we were paying 4, 5, maybe even 10 times MSRP on a box like first edition, and we were ripping it weekly. And now it's like 10% of MSRP. I mean, what a drop. I still think it's entirely possible that someone will buy the IP, yes, but that depends on, when you say comeback, that depends on your definition of comeback. I still enjoy opening it though. Especially now. I mean, what, I think I paid $35 for these native boxes. That's a hell of a long way down from MSRP of 150. And I think even at release, some of the pre-order prices were like 175 a box or something like that. And we had a guy in the last stream talking about first edition. He said at the peak, he paid $1,200 for a box of first edition. These boxes that we're opening tonight, I got for less than $80 a box. Of course I'm sipping on something, bro. We got a lot of, that's the issue when we have some of these parties at my house, is we got a lot of leftover alcohol. So I figured if I'm going to use it for a stream. Full hollow Hodag from first edition. Let's put the hollows in a Kickstarter box, so I have somewhere to put them. And I just dropped that one. Did you guys pull a moth? We ended up pulling a total of 2 Kickstarter Mothman. Full hollow. And a reverse hollow. The jewel of the Uctena. And I actually ended up doing a recount of some of the cards that we pulled from Kickstarter. We did really well on Chaos Crystal. We ended up pulling 6 full hollow Kickstarter Chaos Crystals. So even though we didn't pull that many moths and frogs relative to the number of boxes we opened. Let's see. I think that's a pretty good card. Let's see what the last sold PSA 10 was of the Kickstarter Chaos Crystal. And again, I paid $700 a box. Pulled 2 frogs, 2 moths. Got a Sam Sinclair, 6 Chaos Crystals. It's like $6. Chaos Crystal, PSA 10, Kickstarter. Sold. Looks like the last sold full hollow went for $150. I mean, that's not bad. Last sold full hollow PSA 10 Chaos Crystal, $150. Metazoo will never die by product volume alone. As not cool as having all that product, it really does show big and long term was thinking. Show how big and how long term they were thinking. Do you think Metazoo could have survived if the game was actually fun to play? Because it was not. I still have never tried to play it. Nor have I ever tried to play any game that I've collected, so I really can't speak on the fun of it. I'm more of a collector. But I think a lot of the people that did play it played it for the incentive of the high cash payouts that were supposed to happen at these tournaments. And even if the game was fun to play, I still feel like the best players and the people that went to all these towers were the people that were looking to make some money from the payouts that apparently didn't happen. So whether it was fun or not, I feel like that hardcore competitive group of people probably wouldn't have existed either way once they found out they weren't going to get paid. Yeah, I would say aside from Topps Chrome, the first Hero Quest, the CD packs, that was one of my favorite like mini sets that they did. As far as the quality of the artwork. Cartgal says the game is overly complicated and convoluted, but not in a fun way. When I play with my husband, we have to simplify the rules a lot. Yeah, I think the whole fourth wall mechanic like really complicated it and made it difficult to play. Although it was a cool idea. Pokemon is super fun. Just made my first deck. When I did this with my friend with Metazoo, we had to do some shrooms to get through it. Maybe now that it's dead, I will try to learn how to play it. Just for the irony of it. Maybe I'll buy a couple of theme decks and try to learn. Man, don't tell me we're gonna end up with a stinker of a native box. Let's go back to into a first edition pack here. Did you ever get any of the PFP cards, Nick? Yeah, I did. And I felt like that set was a total waste of money. PSA won't grade them. They were like way too specific. There were way too many variations for them to be like desirable. And even if you got like a good hit, there was like thousands of variations. So I don't know. They were very hard to sell. Not worth $100 for those little PFP sets. And I didn't even bother trying to redeem the redeemable card for an NFT because I could care less about the NFT stuff. I just wanted to buy it because I bought every mini drop that Metazoo did, like many of you guys did. I think I only bought 1 or 2 boxes though when that dropped. The coins? Were there physical coins in those PFP boxes? I don't remember that. Are you talking about a card or like an actual physical coin escaped alien? I guess I don't remember that. Yeah, I guess I forgot about that. Physical coin. Based Pill says the PFP artwork for the NFTs were fire, and I don't think the artist ever got paid. Aoki and Mike made $300K in crypto off that. $300K each or $300K total? White Bison full haul. Yeah, honestly, Tundra, I think a lot of people were out after the NFT stuff. And I don't blame them. I was never super into NFTs either. Actually, the only NFT I ever bought was a Metazoo NFT. in my little wallet account that we made to keep the NFT in got hacked and it got stolen. So we like immediately lost like $1,200 on that, and I never bought another one again. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, LD 850. Price of ETH fluctuated a bit during that time, so it's a rough number, but I know Aoki was transferred at least $100,000 in ETH right after the first NFT drops as based pill. Interesting. You would have to imagine that $100,000 to a guy like Steve Aoki, though, is just a drop in the bucket. So it's like so hard to believe that the artist for that project wasn't even paid. If you could go back in time and warn Mike about all of this, what would you say? I would say number one, don't overprint the product. The demand is not that high for 100,000 booster boxes of the third set. And I would say B, don't take the grassroots community for granted. I think there were a lot of instances where he banned people or was rude to people or blocked people or made fun of people even. And that was like the hardcore base that he had. And I feel like to an extent he took that for granted. So that would be the two things I would say is don't overprint stuff and don't take that really hardcore community for granted. Seeker says, reminder, Mike banned everyone that critiqued the NFTs and collab. Yeah, I heard about that too. Cartgal says it's like Mike was determined to piss off each and every person who supported his creation. Did you guys see the status, the story rather, that Mike posted on the Metazoo Games Instagram account last night? That was kind of ominous. Reverse Quetzal. Let me see, I'll pull it up and read it to you guys. If you didn't catch it. So this was on the Metazoo Games official IG. It says, lots of developments in the past 2 weeks. I'm very close to getting the go-ahead to tell the full story about what's been happening behind the scenes. I know I'm not a hero in many of your eyes, but I'm on a quest to show you who the villain is. And that was a quote from Indrid Cold. And thanks for the continued support, everybody. So kind of an interesting one. And I kind of wonder if that's going to be a tell-all about Steve Aoki. Because if you look at that quote, here's what I would speculate. You guys, I'm sure most of you guys, if you still follow Steve Aoki, have seen how hard he's pushing HeroQuest, right? Obviously, it seems like HeroQuest is like a direct competitor to the idea that Metazoo was supposed to be. I thought that quote that Mike posted was interesting. I'm not a hero in many of your eyes, but I'm on a quest to show you who the villain is. I feel like that's like alluding to HeroQuest. Maybe alluding to Steve Aoki. Or maybe I'm reading way too much into it. But it is weird that Steve has been so quiet in all of this. Because from what we've heard, he's a 50% owner of Metazoo. But he's had nothing to say about it. And he's been pumping up his HeroQuest stuff. So We'll see. You think so too, Cart Gal? I feel like maybe I was reading too much into it, but I felt like that was a very interesting choice of quote. I felt like that was definitely a Hero Quest reference. And plus, the other thing that we know now is that Shaw had no ownership in Metazoo. Shaw was essentially just the storage guy. He was just holding on to the product and allegedly doing some shady stuff with it. But I don't think Shaw had really the power within Metazoo to be the villain per se. I feel like he didn't have the power to really call some of these shots. Even despite whatever shady stuff he may have allegedly done, I don't think he was like a big mover while Metazoo was still around. I feel like Steve Aoki was, though. Oh, I completely agree with that sentiment, Catcher. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that a lot of these decisions and these people that did these bad things, again, allegedly, whether it was the way that Andy allegedly treated the staff or the shady things that Shaw allegedly has done with the product that he's been storing, or even if Steve Aoki did something, these are all Mike's choices. That is a fair point. I agree. But to some extent, I would argue maybe you trust somebody, you bring them on, you don't necessarily know everything they're doing or if you can trust them completely, and not every action taken by somebody that you hire is directly your responsibility. Sometimes things happen under the table, although I do think a lot of this is, Mike is the guy to blame, but I think there's a lot of nuance to this situation where people could be doing stuff that Mike doesn't know about. People that Mike trusted, he didn't know he couldn't trust. I think there's a lot of nuance to this situation. What's up, Pokebarn? I mean, it's easy. It's easy to say at the end of the day, well, Mike brought these people in. Mike hired all these people. So everything they did after they were hired is Mike's fault. That is easy to say. But I feel like it's more nuanced than just to say that. Cojito says, I would honestly hope for these guys that they understand what they did and learn from it in the future, and more so other people learn from these mistakes, best possible outcome long term. Seeker says, do you think we'll ever find out what happened to the pre-order money? You would think that goes to the product. That's a good question. I don't know if we'll ever find that out. Because I do think a lot of people that had pre-orders will be paid back through the liquidation. But that still doesn't answer the question of all these people paid for product. That product was never delivered. Some of it was never even made. So we still don't know the answer to the question of where did that money go then? And we know that there's people that still are owed money that are not people that were holding pre-orders. So we know that that money didn't go at least completely towards paying off the debt. So that's a very good question. I would agree with that too. There has been a lot of blame passing. But hopefully, in the near future, we can find out whatever the full story is. And I personally, no matter what you guys, why does my phone keep doing this? Hold on. I'm going to plug in my phone to a different charger. This charger keeps like pausing the stream. I'm trying to reconnect to the computer. Um, what was I about to say? So hopefully Mike's little tell-all, I'm very interested to see what that is. No matter what your feeling is on Mike, I'm still like waiting at the edge of my seat to see what Mike's version of the story is. Regardless of if he's lied about things in the past or whatever, I still want to hear what his side of the story is. I still think it's going to be very interesting, and hopefully will answer a lot of the questions that people that are owed money have and people that love Metazoo have. So hopefully, even if you don't trust him, don't believe anything he says, I'm still curious to hear what he has to say with this tell-all that he's planning on doing. I've put the offer out there, Escaped Alien. Mike's never said anything to me about it. The last time, I haven't talked to Mike since my birthday. He texted me happy birthday, and that was the last time I talked to him. So I haven't talked to him in 5 or 6 days now. Audio says it will be sad if they really do go bankrupt and not return. I agree. I mean, they've long been dead, and I'm still here opening it. That's how much I love the game. I just love it. I'm actually surprised we got 72 people in here right now on a Thursday night. I guess it is earlier than I typically stream. It's only 11. We've already been going for half an hour. I have a feeling, though, Mike will probably do something with Bailey for his tell-all. I think Mike and Bailey were friends prior to Metazoo. And I feel like he wants to do the tell-all with somebody that he really, truly trusts. I mean, me and him essentially don't know each other at all. We've never even met. Actually, I have met him one time. He just doesn't know it. We met at Collecticon. But at the time, I was barely even making Metazoo videos, so I'm sure he had no idea who I was. Long dead, and we're still buying it. That's a good point. None of us know what Escaped Alien actually looks like. Ogo Pogo, full hollow. Audio A says, I spend my extra money on other collectibles, just never bought Metazoo, even though I've been a fan since the beginning. I don't blame you, man. I mean, like I said, I've told this story, how I kind of started out with Yu-Gi-Oh!, then I got into Pokemon, and then I got into Metazoo. But when I did Yu-Gi-Oh!, I kind of got all the cards that I wanted, got all those cards graded, got all the 10s that I wanted, got into Pokemon, got like all the old classic cards that I wanted, graded them, got 10s. So, and then I moved on to Metazoo. So I kind of got all the classic cards that I really liked from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. I'm not super interested in Modern. I do enjoy opening it, but at the end of the day, all the best hits that I get from Modern, I end up grading. I keep for a little bit. Then I'm like, I'm going to sell this and buy some more Metazoo. I'm going to sell this and buy other packs with this. And I've really only held on to my vintage Yu-Gi-Oh, my vintage Pokemon, then like all my favorite Metazoo cards. But even like some of the more modern, like really cool Charizards that I've pulled and graded to 10, I end up selling those PSA 10s because they're a lot of them go for $200, $300, $400, $500. I'd rather put that money into opening more stuff. Oh, dude, that would be the ultimate plot twist. Escaped alien is really Mike. I actually ended up finishing Demon Slayer last night too. I binge watched. Oh, nice, Sam Sinclair. I binge watched all 4 seasons in the last 4 days. So I've watched like a season a day. I've been staying up till like 6 in the morning watching each season, and then I finished it today. Sam Sinclair, nice. I feel like a PSA 10, even a first edition Sam Sinclair and a PSA 10, I feel like it's still between 50 and $100. Do you think if your channel name was Nick Strength and Metazoo, Mike would have been less cold? No, I think it was more about the stuff I said than the name of my channel. Oh, which reminds me, I do. All right, let's get a Nick Strength and Metazoo shirt to give away. Hold on. I keep forgetting to do this. Give me a second here. Now, I still haven't decided how exactly we're going to do this giveaway. It'll have to be, I guess, what we usually do and give it away at the end of the stream. Or when the stream is over, have everybody leave a comment and then do a random comment generator and then pick a winner. But I do have the shirts here. This one is a large, so we'll give away a large on this one. The Nick Strength and Metazoo. Let me see if I can open it up and get it to fit on the stream. We could do the duck race. The light's not making the yellow pop very good. Let me see. It doesn't look as washed out as the light is making it look, but that's the shirt. So yeah, at the end of the stream, we'll do a thing where you leave a comment. Because I'm not entirely sure how to do the duck race. Holy shit, are you serious, Cojito? A Victor signed PSA 10 Sam Sinclair sold for $33. Wow. But thank you, whoever reminded me, because I keep forgetting to give away that shirt. And I've got, I think, 6 more. What's your size? I've only got larges and extra larges because I only ordered a few of them. Oh yeah, it was Tundra, my guy. So we'll do When this stream ends, the comment will be, what's your favorite Metazoo card in your collection? Or if you don't have any Metazoo cards, well, I guess if you don't have any Metazoo cards, then you probably won't want a Nick Strength and Metazoo shirt. So your favorite Metazoo card in your collection, leave that in the comments when this video is over. Not in the live chat, but in the comments. Then we can do a random comment generator from the comment section, then announce the winner on the very next stream. Would you not fit an extra large either, smoking them grits? So, all right, I'll do 2 shirts on this stream. I'll pick 2 comments. One for a large and one for an extra large. Then I'll message you guys after we pick the winner and ask if you want those sizes. Yeah, damn, I didn't make any 3Xs. I just figured, like, when I sell my Nick Strength and Power shirts, the 2 most popular sizes by a long shot are large and extra large, like way more than small, medium, and any triple X's combined. So I just got a few of those for the Nick Strength and Pokemons. Or Nick Strength and Metazoos. Escaped Alien says, I'm short. My species doesn't get very tall, but I'm thick. One of my favorite cards is the Boogeyman from Nightfall. That is a good looking card. It didn't come in a full holo, right? It was only a reverse. That's true, Smoking Them Grits. It is a different crowd than the bodybuilding channel. I have the design saved, so next time I'll get some more multiple XLs. Dude, I'm down. I'm still going. If anybody still is going to Mothman Festival, me and Chris will both be there. I would love to get together and hang out with some of you guys for sure. I wonder, though, how many people are actually going to show up, because obviously last year there was a tower event, so all the players were there, and there was a Metazoo booth at the festival, so the collectors were there too, trying to get the promos. So this year, I really don't know how many Metazoo people are actually going to bother showing up now there's no tournament and there's no booth, but we'll see. It's in September, I believe, early September. I think it's like, I'll have to look it up, but I think it's like the 9th. The festival's in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So I've gone for the past 2 years. It's only about a 2-hour drive from me, so it's fun. It's fun to go to, and the Airbnbs out there are super cheap because there's like nothing around. Like that's the only event that's going on anywhere near there. There's like nothing to do there but that. So the Airbnbs are pretty cheap there because there's really no draw to that area. Yeah, PSA still grades Metazoo. I mean, I will say this. Even if you're going to be disappointed that there's no Metazoo booth, there's no promo card, there's no tower event, if you're a cryptid fan, you will enjoy the Mothman Festival. It's mostly Mothman, yeah. But all the booths there, there's all kinds of different stuff. There's a hodag, there's Bigfoot. It's all different cryptid stuff. It's basically a cryptid festival. And it's huge. It's a pretty good sized festival. So if you like cryptids, you will enjoy it regardless of whether or not Metazoo's there. And maybe we can try to organize some kind of Metazoo get together. But I went ahead and reserved the same Airbnb that we got last year, and it's close to the festival, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so it wouldn't be a good place to gather. So we'd have to find a bar. There's the Greenbrier Valley Brewing Company that has a Mothman IPA that they sell. You can meet up there. And there's like a local pizza place in downtown Point Pleasant that makes a Mothman pizza. That was a pretty good sized place. We went there last year. I picked up the Kickstarter boxes for $700 a box. And I bought 3 boxes. Mike saves up all. Are you going to any Collecticons? Probably not. I went to the one in Houston. I probably won't go back. I really only went for the Metazoo. But has anybody in the chat been to Mothman Festival? If you haven't been, like I said, if you like cryptids, it's a good time. Like I said, it's mostly Mothman, but there's other cryptids too. But it's like there's Mothman pizzas, Mothman beer, Mothman coffee, Mothman candy, Mothman cups, Mothman plushies, Mothman pillows. It's just like anything you could imagine Mothman, they've got a variation of it. And then they've got kind of a similar thing, just on a smaller scale with like Bigfoot and hodag and other cryptids. And it's really affordable too. Like I said, we got a really big Airbnb that's probably pretty comparable to my house. And I've got a pretty big house, and I think we paid $300 a night or something. It was huge. It was a huge Airbnb for like $300 a night. It was probably over 3,000 square feet, and it was like nothing. Not that $300 is nothing, but just because it's out in the middle of nowhere, you're not staying in like a 1-bedroom Airbnb. This was like a huge cabin in the woods. I don't know what hotels are down there though, because I don't think there's very many hotels that are like quality in Point Pleasant, because there's no airport anywhere near there. There's like no really big convention center. There's not a whole lot of restaurants down there. It's just kind of a very small town on the river with a lot of cryptid lore. So I don't know what your options are as far as like just a hotel. But if you look at Airbnb, you can find some really good prices. And if you live pretty close to it, it's just a really cheap, fun thing to do. Because I was willing to spring a little bit extra on the Airbnb since we didn't have to fly, and it was only a 2-hour drive. Wasn't a whole lot of gas. It's a good, affordable little mini vacation if you live in the Midwest. And probably in that area, if you wanted a really small house Airbnb, it'd probably be like less than $100 a night. Ooh, from Cali to West Virginia, that would probably be expensive. I never did open any sorcery. And when Bailey did that controversial stream where he was selling all the artwork, the only art piece that I bought for myself was the original artwork for the Mothman Festival because that was like my favorite Metazoo memory. It was a really good time. I've never been to the Hodag Festival. And if we have till September for the Mothman Festival, we've got some time to plan. If we want to plan a meetup, we'll just have to think about what we want to do. Because like all the Metazoo people, they had a building for the Dark Tower at Mothman Festival last year. And all the Metazoo people kind of just hung out in that building for most of the festival, and now they're not going to have that. And now they're not even going to have a Metazoo booth at the festival, so there's got to be a place for like the Metazoo folks to gather, so we might be able to figure something out. 8-hour drive? I don't know about 8. That's a long ways. I'd say if you're in without a, why did I just get so tongue tied? If you're within about a 5-hour drive, I'd say it's worth it. If it were 8 hours from me, though, I don't think I would drive 8 hours. And it's kind of hard because there's not really an airport nearby. So even if you flew in, you'd probably have to drive a couple hours from the airport to get there. So it's kind of a tough location. Birth of the Sun. It's really definitely the type of place that you should go to if you can drive, but if you have to fly, you're probably gonna have to drive another couple hours to get there. Honestly, bro, the Mothman pizza was really good. Let me see if I got a picture. I was a little disappointed with the design because the design didn't look like their advertisement, but I'll show you. Let's see if I can find we took a bunch of pictures. The camera's shaky. I might have just hit it. Oh, cool, man. What's up? Alec Taylor, I met you in the line. Awesome, bro. Yeah, we were standing in that line for quite some time. So September, that'll be 23. Let's see. I'm trying to find the pizza picture, but oh, yeah, it's hard to tell that this is a Mothman. But this was the pizza. So the mushrooms are the wings. There's pepperonis and black peppers as the eyes. Pepperonis were supposed to be the body, and 2 green peppers as the feet. But they did a really bad job with it. It was a good ass pizza though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nah, there's no nudes in this time frame. Me and Chris at the Metazoo booth, the Mothman inflatable. I brought Beans. I was carrying him around in a little pouch. But yeah, it was a good time. Axel Stone says, "What are you talking about?" I think we should go. If you guys go to the Mothman Festival, we should go to the Greenbrier Valley Brewing Company because every time that I've gone, they've been sold out of the Mothman IPA, and I would like to go back and try to get that. Hold on, I'll find you a picture of the Mothman IPA. The first year that I went to the Mothman Festival, they had it at a gas station, but I didn't buy it and I regret it. So they had it in stock one of the times that I went there. That's the Mothman IPA. And I guess you can find it like at grocery stores there. But it looks fucking sick. And it's like 9% alcohol. Let's see if I can find a picture of what the Mothman pizza is supposed to look like. Actually, all these pictures on Google look kind of not like Mothman. That one kind of does. They tried a little harder on some. Mothman Festival was the first time I interacted with anyone from the Metazoo community. Honestly, I felt like a kid talking to people at cryptids with people. It was, yeah, it's a blast, dude. I appreciate that, Pokey Barn. I know it's very hard to get. I've talked to a couple people that live in West Virginia, and they couldn't find it anywhere either. But the Greenbrier Valley Brewing Company is like 5 minutes up the road from the festival location. It's just that when I went, they didn't have it in cans. They only had it on tap. And I wanted to go get some cans to take back home. Damn, that was the rest of the native. Oh no, we got another box back here. Man, I appreciate it though. I'll just have to try again in September. And if they have any cans in stock, I'll probably have to stop at some gas stations or like a Walmart nearby and try to find it. The good thing about Metazoo is that people always love cryptids, man. That's true. I don't think we got a single hit out of that native box as far as any of the native 19. Hopefully this one is better. Igloo. I don't know how up to date their brewery website inventory is though, bro, because it said in stock at the last Mothman festival for the cans. And then when I got there, they said that they didn't have any, but they didn't have any cans. And there was a bunch of people there. The line was long, and I didn't really want to wait around to get it on tap, so I just left. Because I really mostly wanted to get it in the cans to bring back to the Airbnb and then bring some back home, because we were doing a Metazoo stream that night at the Airbnb, and I wanted to have those Mothman IPAs for the stream, but couldn't get them. But I would say if you go, be prepared for the parking to suck. That was like, it's such a small town. They just don't have the infrastructure in terms of parking lots that hold all these cars. So you're going to be parking on the road, you're going to be parking in fields, and you might park a 15-20 minute walk from the festival, because there's just not a lot of places to park in this little small town. It's just, there's no parking garages, there's no really big like parking lots, there's like no big buildings, no big institutions, there's really nowhere to park. So that's the biggest pain in the ass about the festival, is finding a good spot that's not a half an hour away. How much Metazoo art is actually left? Overall thoughts on this sell-off. I said this in another stream, but I think there's an important distinction to be made between Mike and Shaw. I know a lot of people were saying, well, Mike's doing the exact same thing that Shaw did, because Shaw is accused of like selling off all these grails under the table. It's important to remember that Mike is a 50% owner of the company. Shaw has no ownership. So it's, I mean, not only just plausible, but it's probably the truth that Mike owns these assets. Shaw has no ownership of any Metazoo product that he sold. He just stores it. He has no ownership. So there is a distinction to be made that if Mike gave this to Bailey, even if Mike, I mean, he owned it. So there's a difference between what he did and what Shaw did, but I still think it's a little bit weird. But I think people do need to understand the difference, that if Shaw is allegedly selling grails under the table with fake accounts, with no ownership over Metazoo at all, that's different than Mike owning half the company and selling assets that he probably owns. And I think also, I said this in a video too, none of that artwork was listed on the inventory that was sent over to Shaw. So this is all probably artwork that Mike held for himself personally in his own vault, which he has every right to do because he's a half owner of the company. Now, the thing that I will say is people are upset that Mike is selling these original art pieces from the artists, and people are saying, well, there's artists that haven't been paid, support the artist directly. And I totally agree with that, and I see that. But at the end of the day, if you're a Metazoo collector, this art is going to go whether those artists get paid directly or not. And I have supported most of the artists directly and bought custom art from several of them and signatures from several of them. But whether I bought it or someone else bought it, that art is still going to go, whether you like it or not, whether you want to support the artist directly or not. If you're a collector, that art is going to somebody else if you don't buy it. And it was going pretty cheap. I think the cheapest thing that I bought on that stream was like $50. So I bought a Bigfoot like full color painting for my friend Chris. I gave that to him when he was here this weekend, and I think I paid $250 for that. It was like kind of the wilderness style of Bigfoot, but it was unused. Then I bought the Mothman Festival original art. And then I bought a sketch of Frogman from Chris Campman. That was only $50. And I think it was the same Frogman art that was used for this, for the revive. But it was the sketch of it, so it wasn't even a full color. Yeah, I've had a few conversations with Bailey. Over the last couple weeks, though, I've been able to talk to Mike a lot more than I've talked to Bailey. But Bailey, we've had a couple conversations, and essentially everything that Bailey has claimed on Discord or whatever, all these rumors of him texting Mike and whatever, Bailey has privately messaged me like proof of everything that he says. So as shady as so many people think Bailey is, every time that I've talked to him, he's like, hey, I said this. Here's the proof. Here's the video recording on my phone. Like he's really backed up everything that he's claimed on a lot of these little Discord posts or whatever. And I honestly think the only reason that Mike is going through Bailey, like I said earlier in the stream, is I think Mike and Bailey were friends prior to Metazoo even existing. So he trusts Bailey enough that Bailey's not going to keep any art for himself, or Bailey's not going to keep the money. I think it's like a friendship trust kind of thing that exists outside of Metazoo. Man, we got to get something. Damn, I just put those in the hit pile. We got to get something good out of native. Raven Mocker. But yeah, as far as my experience with Bailey, every interaction that I've had with Bailey has been positive. I haven't had any negative interaction. Every time that I bought something from him, he shipped it, it came, nothing sketchy. And every time that I talked to him, it was usually proof of something he was saying. So I haven't had any negative interaction with Bailey. Because when he was liquidating a lot of his like sealed Metazoo product, I bought some cases of Topps Chrome hobby boxes from him. And they shipped really fast. He gave me a really like dirt cheap price on them. So my experience with him overall has been positive. Man, these are not the best native boxes. Wing Pikachu says, Bailey has been honest. Argos is the liar, Nick. I mean, it has been weird that we haven't heard anything from Argos, but honestly, I think the main reason for that is that Argos is pissed off and he's done. He's gone. I think Bailey is still holding on to hope. that Metazoo's going to come back. I think Argos is not. I think realistically we'll probably never see another Argos Metazoo video ever again. Bailey, on the other hand, I don't think he's done. I don't know, Richie. I still don't have a Discord. Blitzen says the only one I could think of was Aoki to save Metazoo. I think he wants Metazoo dead, which it should be because Mike is a douche. My personal speculation is that if Aoki wants Metazoo dead, the reason is not because of Mike. I think the reason is because Aoki wants to focus on Hero Quest and be done with Metazoo. Honestly, I like to do this more than my main channel, for sure. But I was just talking about this earlier. If you guys weren't here earlier, do you guys think this was a shot or alluding to Steve Aoki? Mike posted this on Metazoo Games. Lots of developments in the past 2 weeks. I'm very close to getting the go-ahead to tell the full story about what's been happening behind the scenes. But this specific part right here, I know I'm not a hero in many of your eyes, but I'm on a quest to show you who the villain is. I feel like that was a reference to Hero Quest. And I think when he says villain, he might be talking about Steve Aoki. So I'm very interested to hear that side of the story. Oh, I agree. I don't think Hero Quest is nearly as popular as Metazoo was. But I think Steve thinks there was more potential in Hero Quest than Metazoo, for sure. Ghost Dance. Chibi Wendy. Let's do some more first edition here. Especially if you're a 50% owner, Escaped Alien. It's weird. And I feel like there is more to that story. Another Sam Sinclair. And like I said, as many people don't like Mike, that's fine. But I do feel like there's more to the Steve Aoki half of this story. Because Steve has been completely silent. And he's off building his new, Hero Quest brand. Which to me seems like a competitor to another brand that he's a half owner of. I mean, he owns half of Metazoo. So I definitely feel like there's more to that story. And whether you believe Mike or not, I feel like there's going to be some interesting stuff that we're going to hear in the next couple weeks. Beast of Busco reverse. Richie says it's still so weird to me how many things went from announcing potential fan art winners of early 2024 to closure. Lyle says it's not like Hero Quest is taking business or anything. Why own a slice when you can own the whole pie of something else? Uncle Sam full hollow. Blitzen, my understanding from talking to Mike is the only two people that had ownership in the company were Mike and Steve, 50-50. So not Andy, not Shaw, not Craig. From everything that I've heard, it was just Mike and Steve. I keep forgetting that they got those Metazoo tattoos. Which me and Chris were also thinking about getting Mothman tattoos. I'm glad we never did that. I was going to get it in like the Metazoo style of artwork though. But Mothman will still exist. Man, this native is ice cold. Do some more first edition. I feel like this first edition box has got some more heat on it since we're getting double Sams. Bunny Man. We can't be as lucky as Chris, though, pulling back-to-back full hollow first edition moths. Salem's Witches reverse. Just get a little green alien tat. Babe the Blue Ox reverse. I'll keep going in first edition until we get a full hollow. Richie says Metazoo has probably indirectly stunted the growth for other future ND TCGs. A lot of people more skeptical now. 110%, bro. I've had so many indie TCGs reach out to me about like opening their product or whatever, and I've told them all the same thing. Is like after Metazoo, I don't really want to commit to a new up-and-coming TCG because there's A, there's so many of them. B, so many of them have failed. And C, look at how badly this whole Metazoo thing has gone. Like, I don't want to go balls deep into another indie TCG for a while. Blitzen says, I don't know if you ever heard of Melt Bar and Grill, but if you got Melt Army tattoo for this grill, you'll receive 15%. I've never heard of it. Where's it based out of? Is it like a nationwide chain or just a local thing? And 15% off does not seem like a good deal. To get a tattoo on you for the rest of your life, I feel like you should get free food for the rest of your life. Oh, it's in Ohio? Interesting. tripod arrow reverse. Oh, I thought that might be a moth. Now I'm kind of thinking about getting maybe a smaller Metazoo related tattoo of like a Mothman or a Frogman or something. But now it's going to be as like an in memoriam tattoo. I mean, it was 4 years of my life, hardcore, like diving into this. It's a pretty substantial chunk of somebody's life. I think that's worth a small tattoo. I mean, if you live to 80, that's what, more than 4 years will be what? 5 to 10%? Why is my math so bad? It'd be 5%, not 10%. But, I mean, I'm 31. Say I've only got 40 years left. 4 years is 10% of the time that I've got left. If I lived to 71 or something, that would be like a realistic lifespan. I think 4 years of like super committing to something will be worth a small tattoo. Most of my relationships have been less than 4 years. But that's why I haven't gotten a Metazoo tattoo. They always say, another Sam Sinclair. Never get a girl's name tattooed on you. Metazoo is like my lost love. 3 Sam Sinclairs from the same box. Get a tattoo of Hell's Gate from Nightfall and have Mike and Andy Steve Aoki part of the picture. Hell's Gate was a dope card. Do you really? Escaped Alien? Sounds like 3 too many. Damn, how's it not even midnight yet? Oh, no. Okay, good. I was going to say, Jesus Christ, bro. Zoo is always going to be your side chick, for sure. I mean, when I think about it that way, Metazoo has lasted longer than 3 relationships. I've had 3 girls that I've dated during the time that I've been opening Metazoo on stream. And Metazoo outlasted 3 of them. Earth's Core reverse. That is true, though. It's like no matter how good your main chick, my main chick being Pokemon, no matter how good your main chick's pussy is, you're always going to want to get drunk and have a little bit of that side piece, which is Metazoo. Metazoo is like the ultimate TCG side piece. That's a good metaphor. And I feel like that's why I drink every time I open Metazoo. Not because I'm an alcoholic. but because it depresses me. And I got to be drunk to open this shit. Snuggle up in the pen with the blue babe a little. DoorDash is going to take a hit when your late night Metazoo openings end. Frogman reverse. I still have not tried sorcery, so I have no opinion on it, bro. That's why I'll never marry Metazoo. If you got to be drunk to crack it. She's not the one. But it's still such a sweet little treat. You got a nice little buzz going. You want to dance with that forbidden fruit just a little bit. Especially as late as I stream. Native is your favorite set? Interesting. Metazoo knows how to give that tornado. Audio says, I guess I haven't drank enough to buy Metazoo then. Catcher says, so good, but so dirty. What's the most fun Metazoo set to open? I still think that Topps Chrome was more fun than any booster box set to open. I had more fun with Topps Chrome than any other core set. I'd say Native is up there. Native is probably on the upper half of Metazoo releases. And even though most of the Topps Metazoo cards that are serialized are kind of worthless now, I think the variety and like all the different levels of rarity and all the different serialized cards that you could get, it made it pretty fun to open. Then you had like the cryptid cams, you had the refractors, the X-fractors. There were like so many different levels of hits and some so hard to get. Then you had like these ultra big super fractor chase cards. I think Topps Chrome is hard to beat in terms of like the adrenaline rush of opening. And like I said, even if a lot of the serialized cards are kind of worthless, you still get that endorphin dump of pulling a serialized hit, even if it's like a numbered at a 99 black cat or whatever, silver cat. That's why sports cards are like crack. I can definitely see the appeal. I mean, it does make it fun to open. Another reverse frog. Blasters were definitely better than the hobby boxes. I agree with that. Honestly, I've never been a big sports fan, though. I don't know enough about sports, any of them. I don't follow really any of it. Maybe NFL would be what I watch the most of, and I could only name... If you put a gun to my head, I could probably only name 20 NFL players in total. Snallygaster full haul. I just don't know enough about the different players, which one is good. Even if you got a serialized player card, is that player any good? Who did they, when did they play? Who did they play for? When did they play for them? I just don't know enough about it. I feel like there's so much nuance to sports card collecting. You got to be a real sports head to get into it. And if I did name 20 NFL players, it would be like all the greats of all time. It wouldn't be any, it would be like 3 current players. That's a good point, Pokebarn. Because the other thing, too, with sports, you never know. Is this guy going to get injured? Is he going to get canceled? Is he going to turn out to be a piece of shit? Is he going to get arrested? Is he going to go to jail? Is he going to totally suck? I feel like there's a lot more variables with sports card collecting. I feel like you got to play it safe and, like, if you're going to collect an athlete card, collect like somebody that's already an established legend that's not going anywhere. You got to collect like a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning or I still think there's a chance that the Topps Sapphire might happen. Bro, I know Joe Burrow, and that's about it. As far as current guys, I might watch like 3 Bengals games a year, and that might be 1 regular season, 1 playoff, and then maybe definitely if they go to the Super Bowl, I'll watch it. But I might watch like 3 games a year at most. I feel like UFC would be a good one to collect. If you're gonna collect sports cards, I feel like there's a lot less less nuance when it comes to that versus like 50 teams, thousands of players. I feel like UFC would be a little bit easier to know about each guy. They're going to call it Topps Metapoo 2.0. And I was going to say, I do always see UFC at Walmart and Target and Meijer. The UFC, I don't think it's Topps. Is it Panini? But I feel like I see the UFC boxes everywhere. And honestly, I think WWE might be fun too. Get some WWE autographs or serialized cards. Probably the autographs would be better. And we got the rare appearance from the Mothhawk, my guy. Long time no see, man. Man, this native has been brutal. Yeah, I think WWE could be fun. I feel like the thing about sports is there's so many teams and so many players and so many generations of players. WWE or UFC being so individualized, it'd be a lot easier to understand who's good and who's not. Damn, we didn't get a single. I just realized we didn't get a single Mothman or Frogman out of that first edition box. What a shame. Did they have Attitude Era? Oh, they must have. They're stupid expensive. That would be cool. Some WWF trading cards. I only have one WWE card, and it's a signed Mr. Kennedy. It's not even graded. I've got it in my safe somewhere. Mr. Kennedy was always one of my favorite guys when I used to watch SmackDown in like 2005. I used to love the microphone coming down from the center of the ring. He was like my favorite heel. Another, the Jewel of the Uctena. The Rock, Stone Cold. Yeah, Stone Cold would be a cool one to collect. The Rock. Were you ever into gaming? Not really. Not beyond the Game Boy. I had an Xbox when I was a kid, but we had like 2 games for it. We had like that game where you were like surfing. Was it surfing or snowboarding or something like that? Maybe it was jet skis. I don't even know. Then we had another game that was like hamster. Like we never played the Xbox, but it was like a hamster game and like a snowing ski-boarding game. I don't know. Did I say ski-boarding, snowing, or skiing game? Yes, Wave Runner 64. All right, let me pee really quick. I've actually done pretty good. 100 minutes almost. And I haven't peed once. So you guys pick which box we do next. I'll pee, get a refill on this drink, and I'll be right back. 100 minutes might be a new record for me. I actually did wash my hands. I don't even see anybody voting on CN1 versus Karomi. I wasn't even gonna do a poll. I was just gonna say in the chat whatever I see the most. And I saw somebody comment about DoorDash earlier, and now I'm on DoorDash. I'm trying to see what's still available. It's late though. There's not going to be a whole lot. Definitely not White Castle. I regretted that from the second that we got it. What's up, Metazoo Menace? From the second that we got it the other night. I regret it every time. I'm looking at IHOP actually. Yeah, IHOP might be good. All right. I thought that suitcase of cheap burgers got better every time I got it. I always regret it the next day because I shit my brains out off of White Castle. It's never a good idea. That grease in that White Castle, it never fails. It just wreaks havoc on me. I think I'm seeing mostly CN1, so we'll do CN1 next. No more Chipotle. I'm boycotting Chipotle. It is good. White Castle is amazing for like the 5 to 10 minutes as you're eating it, but immediately after and the next day, it's just so much regret. But for like 5 to 10 minutes, it's pure bliss, and after that, it's game over. Yeah, Penn Station is good. I agree with that. Penn Station has some damn good fries too. That's what keeps us coming back is that 5 to 10 minutes of bliss. Yeah, my parents, I never got into Panda Express like that, but when I moved out of my parents' house when I was in my early 20s, my parents got like hardcore into Panda Express after I left. I must have totally missed that movement. Because when I was there, I don't think they ever went there, but I guess when I left, that was like their new favorite spot to get takeout. Let's do the box topper right off the rip and a Forest Aura. I like Panda Express's like the crispy beef. I don't know if it's the same as the Mongolian beef, but they've got like a crispy beef and broccoli. I don't even think there's a Panda Express near me because they're never on DoorDash. No way. Mothman right off the top pack. No way. That's pretty sick. Maybe that's a good omen for this box. And it was out of a Mothman pack too, right? All downhill from here. Let's hope not, bro. Let's hope this is a mega clumped box of moths. Like Chris's back-to-back moth packs. Beast of Busco. And straight into a reverse hollow. Mothman showing up to convince you to get that tattoo. Oh, I thought that might be another one. Reverse Blood Ruby. I'll probably get a little Mothman tattoo. Like a very small one, not like a big piece. But just like a little nod to the years that I spent with Metazoo. Now we're just on a straight reverse streak. With the words RIP 2024 next to it. Bro, are we really going to pull a Mothman right off the top and just go straight into just a pure abyss of reverse hollows? Does that work? Blitzen? Are they about the same size as a quarter for a gumball machine? That is true. One Mothman in an all reverse box would still be an insane box back in the day. I feel like these scissors are getting dull. Man, I feel like we're really about to get a straight reverse box. No way. Let's open up this Chromie at the same time. We'll do them simultaneously. You guys made the right call. Starting with CN1, because we got a moth right off the top. They're a little thicker than a quarter. I was going to say, if anything, I thought they might be a little thinner. I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree that Chromie is underrated. You have potential to get some good hits, but I've opened way more boxes that were just trash and no hits, no Sanrio 6, obviously no secret rare. And once you open it, the box is completely worthless with like no redeeming value. Now, if you got a box that was loaded with hits, that'd be cool because there's so many boxes that suck. But I don't know, from a general, you buy a box, you open it, what's your experience? I would say generally most people buy a box of Chromie and don't get anything. And they just basically lose the entire amount they spent on the box. But just by that contrast, it does make the boxes that are good, because there are some out there. I've seen somebody pull two Aura cards from the same box. It makes those boxes that much better, but I don't know. I've opened way too many Chromie boxes that just absolutely blow. I'm starting to not even believe there's 131 secret rares out there. Nerdicus says this is the secret rare box. I can feel it. My Melody full hollow. I sold 50 Manaya New Zealand promos I got for free a week before Metazoo folded. It makes up for all the Metazoo I'm stuck with. What was your average sale price on those? Was Manaya the one that kind of looked like Loch Ness Monster? Chaos Crystal Reverse. We'll put that in the hit pile. I need me an old scratch from Nightfall. Says Bunnyman. Mike only got made and came back when the pink boxes surfaced. Got mad, you mean? Fat Squatch. Damn, dude, 150 a piece. By the end, you got 40. That's still 40 is still pretty solid. But this was prior to January that you were selling them for 140, right? I wish Nightfall Old Scratch looked like his art in Seance. I agree with that. Those Seance Devil cards were pretty sick. Oh, so you sold them back in March or before March. Chupacabra. I still wish they would have actually serialized on the card the old scratch, because I feel like with all the sketchy stuff that has happened with Metazoo, with the red inks, the blue inks, and the old scratch not having a physical number on them, I feel like God knows how many of them are actually out there. I wish there was actually a number on those cards. And even if there's a number on them, I feel like you still can't even trust that. It's sad. And I don't even think we know, like, even a rough number of how many blue inks were supposed to be out there. Because the rumor was like 100, but I swear I think there's already been 100 pulled. I feel like there's been a lot of blue inks that have been pulled. And I pulled one myself. That's the only secret rare I've actually pulled from a pack. Are you talking about Metazoo HQ cheese? I don't think they're still active. I think they gave up. I know they were definitely tracking the Green Man because they were posting pictures of every numbered Green Man that was pulled. But at least with the numbered cards, the cards that are actually physically numbered on the cards, you can trust them to some extent because the people that are grading them and selling them, if they're numbered to 100 or 99 or whatever, if there's duplicate of the same number, it'll come out. So I feel like you can kind of trust that. But when the cards aren't numbered, I feel like we really have no idea how many there actually are. Man, my scissors are getting dull. Sewer alligator reverse. How many numbered / serialized cards have you pulled roughly? Well, most of them I pulled from Topps Chrome, but I'd say my rarest two pulls were probably the Blue Ink and I pulled a 1 of 1 Babe the Blue Ox Superfractor from Topps Chrome. But obviously in Topps, I've pulled a lot of other serialized. Another Chaos Crystal reverse. A lot of reverses in this box. Been here since the beginning. You would open up the packs because of how hard Metazoo packs were to open. I'd say that's the one thing that Metazoo actually worked on improving was the opening experience after CN1 and Kickstarter. I feel like it's so much more easy to open a set like Kuromi or Native than it was to open First Edition. I still have to cut First Edition and reverse Bigfoot. Kuromi and Native, I guess even since Nightfall, they've been easier to open, but they definitely fixed that issue. Because Nightfall were pretty easy to open too. But I think the Nightfall packs were a little bit stiffer than the Kuromi. He's selling it right now on Whatnot. Or on his eBay. I know that he was streaming on Whatnot today. Oh, on eBay? Okay. I feel like Bailey's been selling Grails for a while, though. Honestly, though, I don't know if Green Man is as much of a Grail, in my opinion. I think out of all the secret rares that came from a core set, even though Green Man was the first serialized one, I think Green Man is the worst looking of all of them. Like Old Scratch, Red Ink, Blue Ink. No, I take that back. UFO and Native had some pretty unappealing secret rares, but Green Man I was never a fan of. And if I were somebody like Bailey that has prototype Mothman, multiple of them, Green Man is probably not high on my list of grails. But the sets like, yeah, Seance too. The sets like UFO, Seance, and Native, where the secret rare was just like a random card in the set with like an alternate art and then like a small little number at the bottom. You didn't even know that you had a secret rare because they didn't look special aside from a tiny little number. I feel like you want the secret rare to like immediately stand out and look like something different. To my knowledge, I don't think there has been a silver ticket posted. I don't know if somebody pulled one and didn't know what they had, but I haven't seen a picture of a silver ticket. There's a Kuromi. And Kuromi is rough. Salem's Witches reverse. There's also such a texture difference between first edition and Kuromi. The first edition is like a much more matte finish, and Kuromi is like very glossy feeling. Walking Sam reverse. Man, I was so optimistic about this CN1 box. But after that Mothman, I feel like we're just getting hosed. A full hollow at least. I have a feeling that even though we saw they threw away those UFO palettes, I have a feeling they probably threw away quite a bit of Wilderness too. Since those were like the two most printed sets. And probably the least desirable. All right, back to first edition. How many? Well, we got a good amount of packs left in here. So since we pulled that first Mothman out of a Mothman pack, let's do all the Mothman packs first. I agree. I mean, when Wilderness came out, it was one of my favorite sets of the three because there were so many cool new characters, but it was just so overprinted that it got redundant, and then every card became worthless, and it was just... Tis Ruck reverse. If you could get any three Metazoo Grails today, what would you want? If I could pick any three and I didn't have to pay for them, I would want a prototype Mothman. Or no, I'd probably want a sample Mothman over a prototype. I think the sample looked a little bit more refined. So probably a sample Mothman. Maybe the last remaining one of one Mothman, which would be the Cryptid Cam from Topps Chrome. And honestly, maybe a sample Wendigo. I think Wendigo, that sample with the black border just looked sinister. Like I just, something about that card. I would say a sample Moth, the one of one Cryptid Cam Moth, and I would say a sample Wendigo. There's just something about that Wendigo with the black border that does it for me. Bro, this first edition is gnarly. Was the Mothman the only holo we've gotten so far? Good to see you, Soccer Kills. Damn, you're right. We do have 87 still watching. Shout out to you guys, man. I wonder what the sample Wendigo is going for now. Chibi Adamakler. Chibi Snipe. I feel like I got to make sure I check every card in these packs. So I don't know exactly where the secret rare appears. Uncle Sam. Yeah, I guess that is true. Escaped alien. If you're in California, these are a lot earlier for you. Well, I know I'm streaming earlier than usual, but if you're in California, this is still pretty early for you. I think I already told you guys on the last stream, but someone offered me it was a BS, or I was about to say BSA, a BGS 8.5 sample moth and a sealed Kickstarter box. They offered me both for 3,500 total, which I think is a really fair price. But I like I said, I think those sample cards have a long way to fall still, and I probably wouldn't buy one until they get to less than $1,000. But I do think that was a very fair offer. There we go, full hollow Chessie. Maybe our luck is going to turn around here at the end. But I just constantly have in the back of my mind that I sold my one of one Mothman for less than $3,500. So to me, how could any sample, when there's been more than one, there's been like, God knows how many there really were, but they said at least 100, right? 100 sample moths. But if my one of one in a 9 sold for 33, I think it was 33.50. How could I justify paying 3,500 for an 8.5 of a sample, even though I get the Kickstarter box as a bonus? But honestly, if Metazoo just totally continues to tank and die and just fade off into obscurity, I'm going to still have those saved searches on eBay of sample cards. And if they start to dip below 1,000, I'll start picking up some moths, some frogs, some wendigos if the samples really go low. But right now, if I were any of you guys, I would not be buying any multi-$1,000 Metazoo card. I think if you're buying Metazoo right now, the only reason that you should be buying it is because you like to rip it, and you can get a booster box right now for like, I heard people saying on the last stream that Argos is selling second edition booster boxes for like $12 shipped. So if I were you guys, the only Metazoo I would be buying right now is just because I want to open some Metazoo and I can get it for like 10 to 20 bucks a box. I would not be buying anything that's multiple thousands of dollars. I'll just be buying this super cheap stuff. Oh, there's still shipping on top of it. Okay. 12 plus shipping. But still, we're talking about multiple Metazoo booster boxes. I'd say second edition, UFO, Wilderness. You could probably find all 3 of those booster boxes for less than $20 each. So if you just want to open a booster box of Metazoo packs for $20, you could spend an hour sitting there opening those packs, enjoying some Metazoo for $20. It's pretty cheap entertainment. And then I think, like, if you're talking about Seance, Native, Kuromi, you're talking about like 25 to 35, maybe 25 to 40 a booster box for the shorter printed stuff. Oh, did you manage to get one of the fake samples? Hell yeah, bro. Chibiquetza. Chibi Babe. Reverse. Or, I'm sorry. Not Chibi Babe. Regular Babe. Reverse. Last pack of first edition. Man, reverse Snally. That Mothman right off the rip gave us a little bit of too much hope. But I'm gonna try after this stream. I'm really gonna try to get back on here and stream a lot more often because I've got so many boxes just sitting. So we'll try to do from here on out multi streams per week. Oh wait, is my DoorDash already here? I might have to go grab that really quick so the raccoons don't get it. Let me check. Oh yeah, shit. Let me go grab that. If I don't grab it right now, the raccoons are gonna get it. I'll be back. All right. And I had to pee too. But yeah, my little raccoon feeding addiction has gotten so bad that if I get DoorDash and I leave it out there for more than 5 minutes, the raccoons are just constantly watching and circling the house, waiting for me to come to a window so they can beg me to feed them. But if there was DoorDash out there for more than 5 minutes, they would just go crush it immediately. Yeah, I think like 4 of them have names. There's Chauncey, there's Choopy, there's Rat Tail, and there's Lil Mama. So I named 4 of them, but there's like maybe close to 10 that come. They all have some of them have very distinct, like recognizable features. Like their eyes are very close together and cute. Some of them look mean. Chauncey, for example, has like a chunk missing out of his ear. Lil Mama is the one, she comes during the day before all the males come at night. And you can see she'll stand up and look at me like through the window. And when she stands up, you can see all her nipples are swollen. So she either just had babies or is about to have babies and she's pregnant, but she's really small compared to all the other raccoons. So I'm assuming she's not currently pregnant. I'm assuming she already had babies. That's why she's so small, because she just lost that she lost that baby weight. But Lil Mama has the swollen nipples. Chauncey is missing a chunk out of his ear. Choopy was the mom from last year. I actually haven't seen her in a while, so I hope she's alive. But she was the mom from last spring. She had 5 babies last spring that she would bring, and I haven't seen her in a long time. But the moms that have babies tend to come during the day because their babies are asleep during the day, and then they don't have to fight with the other raccoons to get some food, and they'll bring food back to their babies for nighttime. So that's one thing I've learned about raccoons is the moms tend to come during the daytime while the babies are asleep, and then they'll go back to their little nest, feed them. Chibi snipe. And frankly, I call that one little mama or Lil. Well, not say little, Lil. I call her Lil Mama because she's easily half the size of like most of the male raccoons that come here. So I kind of feel like she's one of the babies from last season because they grow up pretty quickly. So I kind of feel like she's one of last season's babies that grew up and now she's having her first litter of babies. But she's like significantly smaller than the other raccoons that have been coming here for years. Like Chauncey, the one that's missing part of his ear, he's like a pretty big, fully grown male. And he's been coming for about 3.5 years now. Basically, since I bought the house, he's been coming. Do you have any crazy wildlife in your area? Bears, bobcats? No, none of that. I do see coyotes, especially recently. I've seen a lot of coyotes on the cameras. I've never actually seen them like when I'm out in my yard cutting the grass or trimming the weeds or whatever. When I'm outside, I don't see the coyotes, but I'll catch them on my camera. And there's probably, I think the most that I've seen on my camera at once is 5 or 6 coyotes. So there's a pack that lives around here somewhere, but no bobcats, no bears, nothing crazy like that. No mountain lions, nothing that could kill a human. Honestly, I don't think a pack of coyotes could kill me. If I had a nice big stick, I don't think a pack of coyotes could get the job done. Would love to get a pallet or two, but would feel really guilty. Yeah, dude, I agree. That's kind of the conflict that I have about it. Like I've said, I don't think this auction is going to happen. I really, really don't. But if it does happen, I do want to go on there and bid on stuff. But at the same time, I'd feel so guilty because that means people wouldn't be getting paid back. But it's such a weird decision because if you don't buy it, somebody else is going to buy it. And that money is not going to go back to the people that are owed money regardless. So if you buy it, at least maybe you could give some of that product back to the community. If you got like a really good deal on a pallet, if you got 500 booster boxes for less than $1,000, you could just give some of those boxes away to the people that are owed pre-orders or whatever, even if it's not what they ordered. But that's the tricky thing about it is the auction would suck. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would suck because, yeah, a lot of people are going to want to buy it because they want to open Metazoo or have a lot of Metazoo to open in the future. But if they do buy it, they know that means that money's not going back to pre-orders. But then also, that money is not going to Mike. So that's the other thing is like a lot of people were saying with the Bailey stream, if you buy the artwork from Bailey, like why would you want to give money back to Mike so he could get a lawyer? If you buy the Golden auction, that money's going to Golden. So if you really hate Mike, at least you know that money's not going to him. It's kind of a complicated situation. And then the other thing to think about is the people that buy the it's really going to be interesting, the people that buy the pallets, because if you don't buy it and somebody else does and they just dump it onto the secondary market immediately to try to make their money back, they're going to totally tank what's the scraps that are left of the Metazoo secondary market. So if you were somebody that's looking to buy it and hold it and just slowly open it for whatever reason, at least you wouldn't be dumping it onto the secondary market, and you could be doing at least a favor to not dump 500 boxes in a day. And the other thing to consider too is that Golden does not have all of the product. What we've heard is that the printers are still sitting on a good chunk of product. I've heard that Golden has most of it, like probably more than 80-90%. But the printers, I've heard, are still sitting on maybe 10 to 20% of unpaid for product. Maybe less than that. I'd say probably 10% or less is probably more accurate for the printers. Not really, lolcow. You didn't really miss much. No new happenings. We talked about the recent story that Mike posted on the Metazoo page, but that's about it. Chibi Mike the chicken. It's kind of a rough night of openings, except for that Mothman. But I think we're going to do it again tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday. So I guess stay tuned. We've got like 10 more boxes of CN1 that we can open. Maybe I'll post it on my Instagram, Raw Pranks. I posted the whole spreadsheet. If you screenshot the video that I posted the whole thing on there. It just wasn't on there long enough to read through it. But if you screenshotted it, you could look through it. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram so people could actually zoom in and look through it all. But and a chibi snipe. All right, before I end it, I'll show lolcow what we were talking about earlier. So my personal opinion is I think there's going to be, my phone is disgusting. I think there's going to be a big rivalry between Mike and Steve in the next couple of weeks. He says lots of developments in the past 2 weeks. I'm very close to getting the go-ahead to tell the full story about what's been happening behind the scenes. I know I'm not a hero in many of your eyes, but I'm on a quest to show you who the villain is. And he says that's an Indrid Cold quote. Thanks for the continued support, everyone. What I've been talking about this whole stream is I think that was a shot at Steve Aoki in Hero Quest. Specifically picking a quote that has Hero and Quest in the same sentence about who the real villain is. So I feel like we're going to see something interesting when Mike does his tell-all about Steve Aoki. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted, as always. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength of Pokemon. I'll be on tomorrow. Signing out.